Hi, I'm Ian Linklip, the Consumer Insider. For 25 years, I've been representing consumers against car dealers, debt collectors, and credit reporting agencies. Each week, I bring you the inside scoop on how it is that these businesses use illegal tactics to cheat and bully consumers. And with a little luck, we're going to help you learn how to fight back, be heard, and resist against these businesses. Today, I want to talk to you about the top 5 illegal repossession tactics. This is not a complete or exhaustive list, but it does represent some of the things that are the most common tactics that we see in my office when people come and present with a repossession problem. They are also tactics which will, in most states, convert what is otherwise a perfectly legal repossession into an illegal one that we can get a remedy for. These are some of the worst things that repossession agents do, and they are frankly some of the things that make many of our cases more valuable. So starting in reverse order, here's the list of the top 5. First thing, repossess a vehicle over your objection. In almost all states, there's a law called the Uniform Commercial Code on the books, and this law governs how it is that repossession agents are going to behave when they come out to take a vehicle. The key, the central objective for all repossessions is that they have to be able to take the car without breaching the peace. And so that leads many people to ask, what's breaching the peace? Well, breaching the peace is causing any kind of disturbance where effectively there is an opportunity for a situation to escalate into violence. And that can be either through words or through actions. But most of all, if you are objecting to somebody taking your vehicle and they want to continue doing it, they are doing so over your objections, and there is a really strong possibility that that situation can spin out of control very quickly. And the case law says that in most situations, those repossession agents are going to have to stop what they're doing, they're going to have to back away, and they're going to have to try it another time. And that will probably be another time when you are not around. So if you are objecting to the repossession, certainly in Michigan, that is going to render this an illegal repossession if they continue to try and take that vehicle. Number 4, breaking into a locked or a closed yard or a garage. Repossession agents, even though many of the finance agreements under which the repossession agents have the ability to take cars, many of those agreements will say we have the right to come onto your property and take the vehicle back. That does not give them the right to destroy your property, to break into a closed space or a closed enclosure or a locked garage. That is effectively, or can be effectively, if it's a garage, it can be a breaking in and entering, which is in and of itself a crime. So if a repossession agent has to access a locked area, they're going to either need your permission or they're going to have to wait till you bring that vehicle outside of that locked area and get it that way. But by breaking into a closed garage or a closed yard, they are then committing effectively a breach of peace that will convert their lawful repossession into an illegal one. Number 3, repossessing a car with someone in it. And you'd think that this is something that common sense would dictate that they would know, but we have heard on any number of occasions that repossession agents, if they are very frustrated by the fact that they cannot get access to this vehicle, or if they've been at it for a long time, they may well pull up on a vehicle with someone in it and lift that vehicle up using their hoist and try and take that vehicle off-site with a person in it. In fact, we actually had one case where a woman was in the car with her dog, and the repossession agent just backed right up onto that car, even though the dog was barking, going crazy. They backed right up to that car and tried to repossess it. Again, this is causing a breach of peace, and moreover, one of the things that's going on here is that if you are in the car and somebody backs into that car, that is effectively an assault and a battery. That is illegally touching something or making contact with something that's intimately connected with you. That is an illegal act, and as soon as they commit an illegal act in the course of a repossession, again, it's a breach of the peace, and they have to stop and come back another day. And if they continue, it is an illegal repossession. Number 2, the number 2 thing that turns a legal repossession into a illegal one is using a threat of violence or violence itself to try and take that vehicle. We saw one of those just a second ago, but we regularly see in my office repossession agents threatening to beat people up or to assault them if they do not turn over a vehicle. And again, this is just textbook breach of peace and the kind of thing that makes it illegal for that repossession agent to come out and take that vehicle. And if at any point it becomes clear that they are threatening violence, they have got to stop, or if there's a possibility of an altercation. And then the number one thing that turns a run-of-the-mill routine repossession into illegal repossession is asking the police for help in the repossession. This is something that happens way more frequently than you might think. Normally in most jurisdictions, before a repossession company will go out to a house and try and take a vehicle, they will contact the local police department or the sheriff's department, and they'll call them on the phone, notify them, say, hey, look, we're coming out to Mr. Jones's house and we're going to be taking the following vehicle, and they'll identify it by a VIN number and a make and a model a year, so that when the police get a call, if they get a call from the consumer saying, hey, there's somebody out at my house, the police will know that it's not a criminal trying to steal a car, but it's a repossession agency trying to exercise the rights to retake that vehicle. Well, in many instances, police do come out to the scenes of repossessions, and when they get there, the police will effectively begin the process of helping to repossess that vehicle by bullying the consumers into turning over their keys or turning over possession or opening a locked gate or a locked garage. Now, for the police, this is a problem, and we're going to cover this in another video. But for the repossession agent, and this is true in Michigan, certainly it may be true in many other states, but in Michigan, it is illegal for a repossession agency or a collection agency to enlist the services of a peace officer in order to collect a debt. In other words, you cannot, as a debt collector or a repossession agent, go to the police and ask them to become agents for you and use the state's power and the state's authority to take away a vehicle from somebody. The Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, dealt with this very kind of a situation more than 20 years ago in a case called Soldal, and they ruled that police are not authorized to make determinations about who is entitled to possession of a vehicle and who is not. This is what we refer to in the industry as a curbside courtroom, and police are not entitled to do this. So if the police come out to the scene of a repossession, that repossession has to stop at that moment, because you have the definition of a breach of peace, and the repossession agents can absolutely not ask the police to help in obtaining that repossession. That would be a violation of Michigan law to do that. So those are the top 5 things that convert an ordinary repossession into an illegal repossession. I've got some resources available for you on my website. I've got 3 letters that would be useful for you if you happen to have a repossession in process. The first one is a letter asking for a return of your vehicle if you believe that that repossession was unlawful. The second one is a request for return of personal property. Certainly repossession agents are not allowed to keep any personal property in the car. They are allowed to keep the car and anything that's been modified on the car, but not things that are in the car, things like wallets and purses, personal effects, car seats. Those belong to you, and they have to return those. And then finally, there's a request for a statement of your account to the finance agency. So those 3 letters are available for you on my website. Go to www.consumerlawyers.com. They're free. You don't have to do anything. Just click them and download them. They're there in both PDF and MS Word format so that you can modify them and make them your own and add any specific facts that you need to. On that website, you are also going to find instructions on how to order your credit reports, how to register for the Do Not Call registry, how to opt out of pre-screened offers, which is junk mail, and you can sign up for emails from me in my office. Just remember this, your consumer rights, use them or lose them. Those rights die if you do not exercise them, and Congress will take them away lickety-split if you do not use them and let Congress know that you need those rights. If this video has helped you, pay it forward. Click the like button at the bottom of the screen, forward it to somebody who may need it, and give us a review. Finally, I'm Ian Linklip. That's it for today. You can find me on the web at www.consumerlawyers.com. You can find me on Twitter at MIConsumerLaw and Facebook at Michigan Consumer Law Center. If you have a question that you'd like me to answer on one of these podcasts, something that you'd like me to talk about, or if you need help from a lawyer, I'll be happy to make a referral to anybody in your local area if you think you need somebody outside of Michigan. And you can send those requests to podcast@consumerlawyers.com. I'll do my best to answer it online or return an email if I can. Thanks much. That's all for today.